Hello folks, Typhoon Carter here, and I bring to you another ADV Revival free set. This is a round 2 Swiss stage showdown between DonSalvatore and Freeblades, also known as Mielke. DonSalvatore, he is a French player, to my knowledge, who is actually a very good Fairy Gens player. ADV isn't really his home domain, if you want to call it that, but Don, he's been to Smogon Tour playoffs before, which is like the three most recent generations in recent years, and then he also was a finalist in the, I believe it was the second edition of Smogon Masters. So excellent Fairy Gens player and just a very good Pokemon player in general. He's played in SPL, like he's been there, done that. Whereas for Mielke, I've good friends with him, very good ADV player, and you might remember him from Invitational, so he's played at the big stage before, and he's somebody who's now he's at that stage in his Mons career, if you want to call it that, that's kind of looking to break through to becoming that everyday SPL starter, as he was helping Pac this past SPL. But again, he's a very good player, very creative player, and I look forward to seeing how this match plays out. Skarm lead, Tyranitar lead. Skarm going to swap out here, doesn't want to deal with a Fire Blast potentially, but DD's up here, and Skarm going to dodge the EQ, and Don's playing this pretty awkwardly. Going to have to roar there, but the Jirachi is going to threaten a Fire Punch into a Thunder, so Don's got a scout for HP Grass for Mielke, and does not do that, and it's gonna be threatening a possible 2-hit KO now. So yeah, I think maybe a little bit of a lack of familiarity might be kicking in, trying to play around this mixed Jirachi. Not the easiest thing to play around if you aren't like a regular ADV main, because normally if you see Jirachi you're probably thinking Wish Protect or just raw CM Jirachi, but Don's got his BP out into Aerodactyl, go for an HP Bug, probably won't kill though, and Registeel is going to be revealed. And Registeel got threatened a T-Wave obviously into the arrow. Skarm's going to eat that up, and Don will probably look to get a Layer Spikes down, but I'm going to get full Parrot there. So things not looking real great right now. Protects here. Don, you better get that spike down. And Mielke is just kind of putting the pressure on with the Registeel, and Celebi is going to be the Registeel swap, got threatened a Leech Seed naturally, but Mielke has his own Celebi to deal with that. And recover, oh, this might be like Baton Pass, recover, Psychic, last move probably? Or this might just be like HP Grass Celebi, but not too clear. Aerodactyl gonna be sent in again to threaten a possible HP Bug, but a nice play there from Don to EQ on the Celebi. And the Registeel, brave stay-in from Mielke there to just go for that Seismic Toss to read that entry point, and explodes here. And the Salamence is going to be sent into the game now, and this is probably looking to be a Mixments from Mielke. And oh wait, no, this is DD Ments with that hidden part flying. And Machamp is sent out here. And this Machamp here obviously has to be careful of a possible hidden part fly, but gotta stay in here anyways. Mielke felt confident in that, and Mag is the last on DonSalvatore's team. Normally I wouldn't really see Mag on a Aerodactyl structure, feels kind of weird, but okay, there is in fact the HP fly, and the Machamp will go down. And Tyranitar is going to be sent out here. That's looking to be a Lum DD Tar. And DD's up again, and Roar Pert is shown here, so that early sweep attempt's going to be thwarted. Aerodactyl's going to be sent out again, but go ahead and take a Psychic for 51%. And Hidden Power Fly does a decent amount to this Jirachi. Don looks like he's in a decent spot right now, but this Tyranitar, obviously a huge threat, still has the Swampert at the very least. And EQ's right into Torrent range. Oh, that might have been a mistake. Yeah, I don't get that play. I think Don might have potentially thrown that game away. I mean, if you go, like, I think Roaring was not the best move there because I would have just taken the kill personally. And Crunches here does decent amount to Celebi. And Aerodactyl going to look to Rock Slide its way through Free Blades' team. Oh, but DD Ment suddenly looks a lot more menacing now for mielke to actually try and close this game out. Tyranitar going to double edge here. Celebi's going to be sent out. And Hidden Power Grass does not quite kill. DD's up here. And going to double edge. And Aerodactyl is going to be sent out here. Rock Slides here. So mielke now has an actual chance of potentially winning this game. Rock Slide only doing 13%, or sorry, 87%, but the Salamence is at 13%. Sorry, my bad. And Rock Slide here, the Aerodactyl's gonna go down. And it's gonna be up to the Scarm to maybe try to get a Toxic off, Drill Peck off. Gonna need some luck on his side either way. Misses the Toxic though. And now mielke has still has a chance to try to get something out of this game. Flinches again. Yeah, mielke just might commit a highway robbery here. Rock Slides again. Needs one more flinch. Is he gonna get it? Okay, Toxic's here, but Don just needs to not get full parrot now. And he gets full parrot, and the Salamence is going to Brick Break, and mielke is going to take that game one. Talk about margin of error there. Yeah, wow. That is quite the game one. And I don't know, Don might have let that get away from him. There were certain points that I think he could have maybe put himself in a better spot. Like, I think Roaring the Tyranitar out, like, I think the second time he did it was just like, what are you doing, man? And there were, like, definitely some points where it just felt like maybe Don wasn't as familiar with some things, and it might have probably led to some less than ideal plays, but anyways, you know, let's just go into game 2. Tyranitar leads, Zapdos lead. Zapdos obviously does not want to stay in, and mielke is going to take advantage of that and snipe him with a Fire Blast. So Don is off to a rough start now, especially after letting that game 1 get away from him. And that is a mixed meta, so that's Hidden Power Fire Psychic, Mash Boom normally. And Hidden Power Fires again. Zapdos is going to be sent out here. And only going to take 14% from this Hidden Power, so that's a Spadef Zap if I've ever seen one. T-Bolt's into Swampert. But the Swampert's going to have to be wary of a Hidden Power Grass, but instead, the Zapdos is going to eat a Toxic, so Don getting punished for trying to scout that out. And Toxic's into a Jirachi. And this Jirachi could be a huge annoyance depending on what set that is. Only taking 31% and full paras. So quite unfortunate for mielke, but it's still pretty early into the game. The Jirachi's still healthy. And Wish is up here. You better be careful about eating a Toxic here. But the Scarm's gotta be healed back up to full. And that Scarm's gotta look to get layers up later on. And mielke wants to keep the Scarm healthy, and Dawn might just be running like a mix-off, like especially if you're seeing mixed meta. There's probably mix-offs usually include something like a Heracross, for example, and then obviously a Tyranitar, and then something like a second floater, such as like a Zard or a DD Ments. So that's maybe what I expect from the back for Dawn. Whereas for mielke, I maybe expect a second Rock Resist and something like a Swampert, perhaps, or a Flygon. Could be a Superman trajectory, but it's not immediately clear. And only taking 17% from that Psychic, and mielke is just gonna look to get some chip healing done with the Scarm. Zapdos gonna be sent out here and gonna sit on this meta all day. The only way meta can really break through this is with Psychic crits or Spadef drops. Explosion's also an option too, but too early in the game to be trying that. T-Boat's here, so this might be like Mono Zap with T-Boat Tox, Rest Roar. And Jirachi's going to take 10% into this Metagross, and Scarm going to be sent out again. Gotta look to get another layer of spikes up, but ooh. Okay, I guess mielke just really doesn't want to take this, and I think, yeah, the Zapdos gotta be forced to rest here. Dawn's probably gonna fish for a Spadef drop, but has to be careful of Pressure PP really eating into the meta, because Pressure does not track properly in Gen 3 for whatever reason. So that's just something to keep in mind. Zapdos, yeah, gotta be forced to rest again. Dawn, I would probably start paying attention to how much Psychics you have left. Finally gets a Spadef drop. So the Zapdos gotta be forced out into the Scarm, and Dawn's gonna set that up with a Hidden Power Fire. So nice setup there. And Hidden Powers again. Yeah, just gotta try to spam Hidden Powers. And the Zap is gonna be brought back out into the Mash. The Mash, Dawn could probably try to fish for a Mash Raise. Does he get it? Nope. And man, yeah, talk about a slow game, but mielke finally gotta let that Zapdos go. 8 Psychics, so running low on Psychic PP either way. And Will-O-Wisp miss, that's gotta be frustrating for mielke. Oh, that is not good. Meteor Mash misses there. That's gotta suck for Dawn, and oh, Fire Blast, that doesn't quite KO it, but the Meteor Mash definitely won't KO, especially on a mixed meta, and Crunch will get the job done. So mielke catching a bit of a break of his own. And Flygon is the last, so it is in fact a Superman build. And this Flygon going to EQ into the Zapdos. Really the key here for mielke is just trying to slowly wear down Dawn's team, because this kind of team that Dawn is loading doesn't have a ton of longevity, especially with the way this game is going, but Dawn can obviously pull this back with the right plays, and DD's up here. This Flygon can easily get Toxic off into a Zapdos switch. Zapdos probably can't touch this Flygon. Yep, has to switch out, and so I have to undo Jirachi. So mielke probably trying to bluff CB. Zapdos gonna be sent out here. Naturally gets sniped by Rock Slide. I think defensive Flygon probably would have also killed there, so yep, what do you know, it is a defensive Flygon. EQ doing 53% there, so double edges there. It doesn't quite do over 50, but the Flygon can obviously chip heal with Protect, especially with a Toxic Swampert. Ice Beams here, not too surprising, but that Swampert is getting less and less healthy by the day. But the thing is that mielke has like triple Protect here if he wants to, and Hydro Pump's going to get the job done here. So Mielke is only going to get 2 layers of spikes up instead of 3. Ice Beams. Yeah, Mielke obviously has to be careful of a possible Zartlast, and Heracross is shown. So yeah, this is in fact a mix-off. No real surprises here. Rock Slide gonna get rid of the sub, and Rock Slide's into this Heracross again. Don might be able to pull this back, but I'm not sure if Mega Horn, especially because this is very likely to be Guts Heracross, I'm not sure if this is going to outright kill. Mega Horn into Tyranitar, that's a pretty normal sacrifice, but the Jirachi is still too healthy. Mega Horn does not quite kill there, so I don't know if that was a roll or not, but Mielke was probably okay with making that play if he was going to play it out that way. And yep, DD Ments is the last here, and going to eat a Toxic, so Mielke can now try to PP stall out this Salamence. Protects here, no full para. Don, knowing this, gets a second DD off. HB Fly will probably kill this Jirachi from this range. Triple Protect fails, but the Flygon is still too healthy. It's going to live a +2 HB Fly. And Hidden Power does 70% there into the Rock Slide. And the Salamence is going to die to Toxic damage. So Mielke's going to take this series 2-0. And well played by Mielke to pull back in both games when the situation looked pretty dire both times. And for Don, I mean, that's got to be frustrating, because I think both games he had a real chance to close it out, and he really let that game get, really both games get away from him. And you see where, like, you know, the Toxics on the Swampert, and, like, you know, being able to status all the pokes, and then Mielke being able to wait out all the Psychics from the meta. Although I think the Mash Raise kind of sucked, or sorry, the Mash Miss, I should say, kind of sucked for Don, because he could have taken out the Tyranitar. The meta could have been used as a sacrifice later. There's a lot of ways I think this game definitely could have played out, especially factoring in some of the RNG that occurred. But you know, I thought it was still a pretty good set from both players, and I was definitely entertained. That said though, if you guys enjoyed this video, like, comment, subscribe, and consider donating to ADV Revival Freeze's prize pool, and I will see you guys next time.